Hey, all you cool cats and kittens, do you remember the days when social media was just starting to take off? When the internet was a wild, untamed frontier and we were all explorers in this new digital world? Remember Myspace, that black background with the crazy layouts? It was the first real social media platform where you could truly express yourself. Yeah, we're going there. Back in the early 2000s, Myspace was the place to be online. It was where you went to connect with friends, discover new music, and showcase your personality. It was like the Wild West of social media. There were no rules, just endless possibilities. You could be whoever you wanted to be, and everyone was figuring it out as they went along. Everyone was on it, from your weird aunt to your high school crush. It was a melting pot of personalities and interests all coming together in one chaotic, beautiful mess. The first thing you saw when you logged in was Tom. Tom Anderson, the co-founder of Myspace, was everyone's first friend. He was like the welcoming committee of the internet. You know, Tom from Myspace, he was everyone's first friend. Always there, smiling in that iconic profile picture. Always there, staring at you with those piercing blue eyes. It was comforting in a way, knowing that Tom was always there. A constant in the ever-changing world of social media. Myspace was all about expressing yourself. It was your personal canvas, a place where you could showcase your creativity and individuality. You could customize your profile with whatever crazy colors, music, and glitter gifs your heart desired. It was like your own little corner of the internet, uniquely yours. Remember spending hours trying to find the perfect song for your profile? It had to be just right, the perfect reflection of your mood and personality. Or agonizing over the order of your top 8 friends? Yeah, good times. It was a big deal, a public declaration of who your closest friends were. Myspace wasn't just a website, it was a community. A place where you could connect with people who shared your interests and passions. It was a cultural phenomenon. It was where bands got discovered, where teenagers rebelled, and where we all learned to take selfies way before they were cool. It was a place where bands got discovered, where teenagers rebelled, and where we all learned to take selfies way before they were cool. But then something happened. The digital landscape started to change. Myspace, the king of social media, started to falter. New platforms emerged, and the once thriving community began to dwindle. But for those of us who were there, Myspace will always hold a special place in our hearts. Myspace in its prime was a sight to behold. It was a digital playground where creativity knew no bounds, and everyone had a chance to shine. The moment you logged in, you were greeted with a world of endless possibilities. You could spend hours, no days, tweaking your profile. It was an art form, a labor of love. Every detail mattered, from the background image to the song that played when someone visited your page. It was your personal canvas, and you were the artist. We're talking custom background images, carefully curated playlists, and fonts that would make your eyes bleed. The more unique and eye-catching, the better. It was a competition to see who could create the most memorable profile. It was the ultimate form of self-expression. You could showcase your personality, your interests, and your creativity. It was a place where you could truly be yourself, or even reinvent yourself if you wanted to. You could be whoever you wanted to be on Myspace. It was a world where you could escape from reality and create a new identity. Whether you were the class clown, the emo kid, or the aspiring musician, Myspace had a place for you. And the music. Oh, the music. It was the heartbeat of Myspace. You could discover new bands, share your favorite songs, and even upload your own music. It was a platform that gave a voice to the unheard. Myspace was a haven for unsigned bands. It was a place where they could share their music with the world and build a following. It was a launching pad for so many careers. It was the place where artists like Lily Allen, Arctic Monkeys, and Panic at the Disco got their big break. These bands went from being unknown to international sensations, all thanks to Myspace. Remember the thrill of discovering a new band on Myspace and then seeing them become huge? Good times. It was like being part of a secret club where you knew about the next big thing before anyone else. And who could forget the infamous top 8 friends list? It was a badge of honor to be in someone's top 8, but it also came with its own set of challenges. It was the source of so much drama, intrigue, and heartbreak. Friendships were tested and feelings were hurt. It was a social experiment that played out in real time. Getting bumped down on someone's top 8 was a social death sentence. It was a public display of your social standing, and being excluded was devastating. But hey, that was all part of the Myspace experience. It was a roller coaster of emotions, but we wouldn't have had it any other way. It was a time of discovery, growth, and connection. MySpace was more than just a social network. It was a cultural phenomenon that defined a generation. It was a place where we could connect with others who shared our interests and passions. It was a community, a movement, a digital reflection of our teenage angst and desire for connection. It was a place where we could find our tribe and feel like we belonged. But like all good things, MySpace's reign wouldn't last forever. It was a moment in time that we look back on with fondness and nostalgia. Those were the days, and they will always hold a special place in our hearts. While MySpace was busy being the life of the party, with its flashy profiles and endless customization options, a new kid was quietly showing up on the block, almost unnoticed at first. This new kid was Facebook, and it looked very different. It was like the new student who didn't try too hard to fit in, but somehow ended up being the most popular. Gone were the flashing banners and auto-playing music that defined MySpace. Facebook was a breath of fresh air. Facebook was all about clean lines, a simple color palette, and, dare we say it, a touch of sophistication. It was like the minimalist art movement of social media. Facebook wanted you to use your real name, not some edgy online alias. This was a radical shift from the anonymity that MySpace offered. It was all about connecting with people you actually knew in real life. No more random friend requests from strangers halfway across the world. Remember how weird that felt at first? It was like inviting your real-world social circle into your online space. Like, why would we want to be friends with our parents on a website? It seemed almost counterintuitive to the rebellious spirit of the internet. But then came the news feed. This was a game changer. Suddenly you didn't have to visit a million different profiles to see what your friends were up to. Everything was aggregated in one place. Everything was right there, in one convenient place. It was like having a personal newspaper that only featured stories about people you cared about. Facebook was simple, it was familiar, and it was incredibly addictive. The more you used it, the more you wanted to stay connected. People started flocking to Facebook in droves. It was like a digital migration. While MySpace was busy trying to out-bling itself with more and more customization options, Facebook was quietly building a social media empire. It was the tortoise to MySpace's hare, slow and steady, but ultimately more enduring. Now here's where things get interesting. You see, MySpace was all about giving users complete control. You wanted a neon green profile with flashing skulls and auto-playing Nickelback? Go for it. But Facebook, they had a different approach. They had an algorithm, a mysterious set of rules that decided what you saw and who you interacted with. This algorithm was designed to keep you engaged, to show you the content you were most likely to interact with. It was like Facebook could read your mind, showing you posts from that one friend you secretly had a crush on, or news articles that perfectly aligned with your political views. MySpace, on the other hand, was like a giant, chaotic flea market. It was up to you to sift through all the noise and find the good stuff. Facebook's algorithm was a game changer. It made the platform more addictive, more personalized, and ultimately more successful. Section 5. MySpace dropped the ball. Now, let's not put all the blame on Facebook. MySpace made its fair share of mistakes. Remember when News Corp bought MySpace for a cool $580 million? Yeah, that didn't go so well. Suddenly MySpace was inundated with ads. Like everywhere, it was like trying to find your friend's profile in a sea of flashing banners and pop-ups. Then there were the security issues. MySpace became notorious for its lax security measures. Remember all those viruses and malware attacks? Yeah, not a good look. MySpace's user experience went from bad to worse. The site became slow, buggy, and difficult to navigate. It was like trying to drive a sports car with a flat tire and a broken engine. MySpace was losing its cool factor fast. While MySpace was busy shooting itself in the foot, Facebook just kept getting better. They introduced the like button, a deceptively simple feature that would go on to revolutionize social media. They launched mobile apps, making it easier than ever to stalk your ex on the go. And they mastered the art of targeted advertising, showing you ads that were actually relevant to your interests. Facebook wasn't just innovating, it was adapting. They understood that the social media landscape was constantly changing, and they were quick to adapt to new trends and technologies. MySpace, on the other hand, seemed content to rest on its laurels. It was like they thought they were too big to fail. Spoiler alert, they weren't. By the late 2000s, the writing was on the wall. Facebook was the new king of social media, and Myspace was quickly becoming a distant memory. They tried to rebrand to shed their image as the internet's messy teenager, but it was too little, too late. The final blow came in 2011, when Myspace announced it was laying off nearly half of its workforce. Myspace was sold for a paltry $35 million, a far cry from its peak valuation of $12 billion. It was the end of an era. So where does Myspace stand today? Well, it still exists. It's been through a few more redesigns and rebrands, but it's a shadow of its former self. It's now focused on music, trying to recapture some of its early glory days. But can Myspace ever truly come back? It's hard to say. The social media landscape is more competitive than ever, but hey, stranger things have happened. The fall of Myspace is a cautionary tale. It's a reminder that even the biggest, most popular platforms can fall from grace. It's a story about the importance of innovation, adaptation, and perhaps most importantly, not letting your website become a cluttered mess of ads and flashing banners. So what do you think? Could Myspace have avoided its fate? Could it have held onto its crown as the king of social media? Let us know in the comments.